So today I'm unbeaten with a very rotation friendly aggro deck that is storming me up the ladder even when we're playing against constant board wipes. Hey everyone, Hex here, and today I went 6-0 with a deck I am very happy with. Firstly though, if you'd all be so kind as to drop a like on the video and subscribe below to not miss out on future videos. But onto this deck, and I'm brushing off my pirates and plundering our way to some victories today. So these pirates are all ridiculously synergistic with each other. Let's start though with Captain Storm Cosmian Raider. It is a 2/2 for 2 that says whenever an artifact ETBs under your control, you pop a +1/+1 counter on target pirate you control. It's pretty sweet for a 2-drop that works great with another 2-drop in our deck. That is Malcolm. It has haste and flying, and whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you make a clue token. We have Breeches, our perfect turn 3 play 2. It's a legendary 3/3 pirate with first strike, and whenever a pirate you control attacks, you either get to make a treasure, make a creature unable to block, or exile the top card of your library to play this turn. You get to choose one of these if it already hasn't been chosen this turn. The value engine continues with our 1-drops in Sirens and Tomb Raiders. They push damage, and the Sirens help pretty much with every strategy in our deck. I've got 3 other creatures in Malcolm, Alluring Scoundrel, Kitesail Larcenist and Staunch Crewmates. All pirates, all cheap, all able to squeeze more damage through. I do have some non-pirates today in Goddric, which unsurprisingly fits very nicely in this deck as we make a fair few permanents each turn, plus they can fly and have haste to rebuild after any board wipe we may face. I've got posse bosses which give haste to all your pirates, and some schooners too. These vehicles are the perfect answer to Sunfalls as they survive and they allow you to attack the following turn with whatever creature you drop. I've got a tiny bit of interaction today in Voltage Surges, which are our only non-rotation proof non-land, which can easily be swapped out for something else. And we've got some Witchstalker Frenzies as we do attack with a fair few creatures. Got 23 lands, and that is today's deck. So this one has been a blast, and I highly recommend it for a deck that will still be here in a year or so. Stay tuned to the end when I'll go over the stats and the general thoughts I had, but I've also started my Patreon. Patreon is a great way to support the channel further. You will have access to a secret part of my Discord where I can help you with your decks, and most importantly, Patreon is where I post some crazy unseen footage from testing. I have a lot of very wild and janky combos with gameplay that never make it to YouTube, as they are either just way too wild or way too janky for a full video, so you can check them out over there. Link is in the description below, and a shout out to my current credit level patrons. It does though go without saying, I really appreciate all the support that this channel receives. Now let's get into the games. Alright then, on the play, and I guess this is a decent kind of hand. We don't have a 1-drop though, unfortunately, so we are kind of all in on our 2-drops it looks like. Obscura Storefront for our opponent here. And well, there's our 1-drop. Slightly too late, but we'll go for the Captain Storm here. Now Malcolm does have haste, so it means if we got a land, then Malcolm would have been a good option this turn. We can play our Tomb Raider here and our Siren. And it's actually quite a nice attack here. An attack for 5 because of Captain Storm's ability. So it just goes to show how important the 1-drops are in our deck. Wedding announcement for them. Okay. And we find a Stormcarved Coast. Okay, well, I want to play Malcolm and double spell if possible. So let's play Malcolm. We'll use the Voltage Surge, I guess, on their 1/1. And we get to investigate, and then that will trigger the Captain Storm as well. So really nice aggro plays for us here. In fact, this is almost the perfect start for us. We've got them down to 7 on turn 3. Here comes Depopulate, not the end of the world. We get to draw a card there. So a lot of our creatures have haste, just like Malcolm here. So Depopulate, not the worst card for us to see, but do I really want to be playing this now? Guess it's our 2-drop. And we can just pop a use our map token here to explore, see what we get. It's an island. Okay, I mean, attack them for 2. They go down to 5. I don't know if that was the greatest play. Maybe we should have played the Staunch Crewmate there. to get some more value. But it means if they got a removal, they're going to have to use it again. And they depopulate the 2 creatures that are on the battlefield. So we find a Kitesail Larcenist. Okay. Alright, well, let's keep dropping creatures. Got the Captain Storm, and I'm going to go for the Crewmate as well. Okay, nothing. So we're just going to keep piling the pressure on. Oh my days, a 3rd depopulate in 3 turns. Okay. Inscribed Tablet for them. So we find a Schooner. Well, they can't depopulate a Schooner, so we'll let's just pass the turn here. And hopefully we can attack the opponent next turn for 3. They have found a way to destroy all of their tokens they've created with their wedding announcement. Takusia's welcome, okay. And they're digging for a land, I guess. Or they're digging for... yeah, a land. That is a Sunfall, Liliana, and a Vraska, okay. Well, we are certainly up against it, but you know what? We do have a Schooner to attack our opponent. Need a hasty creature, that would be nice. Malcolm's sweet. We're just going to have to do this in 2 stages, aren't we? Malcolm has Flash, so we can always bring that out if we need to. Just debating what card to play here. Let's go for Captain Storm. So, smash the opponent here for 3. Hopefully we can explore onto Captain Storm to make that a 3/3 for next turn. Siren. Actually, I want a hasty creature. We have enough in the deck. That's what I'm looking for here. But we've got them down to 3. And, yeah, I'll just pass the turn there. Can flash in a Malcolm if we need to. Or probably going to. The Wandering Emperor here. Sure. Okay, well, they are clearly going to target my 3/3, which they do. And you know what? I'm going to save my life, or save this game by destroying my own Captain Storm with the Witchstalker Frenzy. So they are still on 3 life. We have a Schooner next turn that can attack for 3 damage, and that should be enough to win the game here. They need land and spell. No spell. We also have a Tomb Raider, which has haste. So let's go for Malcolm here. Play our Tomb Raider. Crew up our Schooner. And smash the opponent. So it looks like we are going to win this. We've got through 3 board wipes, plus a Wandering Emperor. I'm very proud of this pirate deck here. Alright, on the play with our pirate deck, and for a pirate deck, this hand is extremely piratey. We have 4 of them, so I'm not going to argue with this. We'll play our Cavern here, turn 1. Naming Pirate gives the game away slightly, but means we don't take a damage with the Shivan Reef. And yeah, I mean, used to play a lot of tribal, or typal they're called, decks in the past, but haven't done so many recently. I'm going to do a few more. I like the idea of a few of the tribes that are in standard at the moment. I'm looking for some more rotation-proof kind of decks, and this is definitely one of them. There's, apart from a couple of the lands, and I think it's Voltage Surge, which you can replace quite easily. This is a very rotation-friendly deck. Opponent with Tiny Bones joins up. Discarded a mountain there. Still going for the Crewmate here, because this can almost refill our hand slightly. And it does with Malcolm the Eye. So next time we can actually double spell, or we can drop Breeches if they play a blocker. Don't mind where we are right now. I would definitely put this deck as a more aggro build. That's a Kenra Spell Spear. Okay. 2/2 with Prowess. Doesn't work perfectly well with the Tiny Bones though. Right, I'm going for Breeches now, just so we can push some damage. I'm guessing the opponent's going to have some removal in their hand, so I want to just get as much damage through as possible. Make a treasure as well. And yeah, we'll just pass the turn. Breach is also a nice blocker. Means that if they have a spell, they're going to be inclined to want to use it. And I don't mind blocking with Breeches if they want to attack with that Spell Spear. Clearly they've got instant speed shenanigans going on, but my worry is that they kind of blow me out with some combination of Monstrous Rage type effects on the Spell Spear. So, yeah, Blazing Crescendo. Okay, it's a 6-4. We're going to lose our Breeches here, but I'm really just not that worried. We got that out their hand, and we're still on 17 life. Ashnod, 1/1 Death Toucher, works with Tiny Bones, makes us mill a card and lose a life. Sure. Mill a Shivan Reef. Ooh, and Witchstalker Frenzy is going to be nice. So we go with Malcolm here, play our Tomb Raider. I'm just going to smash with everyone. Not bothered if they want to block with Ashnod. We could use our map token here as well if we wanted to. But yeah, it's going to put the opponent in a small pickle here. They can block my Tomb Raider if they really want to. They've been having a good think about this, and they do. Okay, they're going to take 5. Go down to 8. We have our Frenzy, second main, can just take care of the Spell Spear. And yeah, I mean, they're down to 8 life. We have 3 creatures on the board. They're quite small creatures, but our deck really works well with the small creatures. There are so many options you can put in this deck. You can really go crazy if you want with things like Zoetic Glyph. That was a card I very much considered putting in this deck, but chose against it at the end. We find a Schooner. They did attack with their Devastator. So we had many ways. We had things like Hellspare Posse Boss in this deck, or Goddric to draw there, but the Schooner not the greatest draw in the entire world. Might as well keep digging though, I think, with the clue. Just in case we find something with haste. Okay, it's just another land. Sure. I think we'll just go for the Schooner here. I think my biggest concern is them just swinging back for lethal, but we got to go for this, I think. Quite like the position we're in. We've got a lot of damage on board. They do have 5 mana. They do have a 3/3 on the board. They've got 2 cards in hand. They've shown that they're playing some kind of prowessy style deck, so I'm guessing a Monstrous Rage here. Oh, Crescendo. Okay, so it's a 6/4. They did find a Lightning Strike off the top of their deck. Oh my days. If they have a Monstrous Rage, we could be dead here, I think. Lightning Strike on my 2/2. They take us down to 6. And a Forsaken Miner, which doesn't block, so that's game for us. So our aggro deck has actually taken out the opponent's aggro build. I'm glad we used Breeches earlier to block, to get that card out of their hand. And yeah, we take down the Rakdos deck here. Alright, on the play here. This hand is sweet, I think, isn't it? Yeah, I think this is a pretty decent hand here. I think it's always difficult to know exactly what order to play some of your cards when you've got lots of 1-drops and 2-drops, but this is not looking too bad. Opponent. Yep, they have kept a hand of 7, so we'll go for the Tomb Raider. It's a 1/2. Does not have haste. We do not have an artifact. An opponent with a Sundown Pass. We find a second Voltage Surge. Okay, not the end of the world there. We'll go for the Schooner here. It will attack next turn, and also it pops a extra degree of power onto our Tomb Raider there. Take the opponent down to 18. Black Market Tycoon. Okay, now these Voltage Surges are going to come in handy. Name Pirate, play Malcolm here. Play it main phase so that we can crew up the Schooner, but we can also take care of the Black Market Tycoon as well. So, don't know what we're up against. Yeah, I mean, Malcolm has haste. I mean, we are very much the beatdown deck here. And this is what our deck's trying to do here. Just get in so much damage and then finish them off at the late game with some hasty threats. They play Ginny Fae. Okay, so we can use the Voltage Surge if we want. We would have to sacrifice our Schooner, which I really don't want to do. But I think the best option here is to play Malcolm, and we can just crew up the Schooner with the Goblin, I think, and then we can just smash them. Ginny Fae is a little bit worrisome. We always have this kind of get out clause here where we can use the Voltage Surge and sacrifice our Schooner. I mean, I doubt they're going to block this. This is a attack for 8. It's going to take them down to 5. We have 5 in the air, so... Okay, and a crewmate. Well, we can double spell next turn. So let's get rid of a Sokenzan. Yeah, I mean, our deck's doing really nicely here. See what they've got here with Ginny Faye on the battlefield. They have to deal with our flyers, though. And yeah, we can use the Voltage Surge still. So we can do up to 4 damage if we need to. Song of Tottentans is going to make some doggos. So just reading the card here, this is only 12 damage. Am I missing something? I don't think so. Just let them attack. We'll take it, go down to 7, and we can just kill them in the air. I mean, yeah, I mean, that worked pretty well. I was kind of thinking that there was something else going on there, but maybe I was just being paranoid. Alright, then on the draw. Pretty sweet hand. No 1-drops, though. The thing you really want in this deck, you want to go 1-2, or even on turn 3 be double spelling, so not the most ideal start, but we'll certainly keep it. And yeah, I mean, don't have anything to do here, so it's just drop our Spirebluff Canal, say go. Looks like the opponent might be on some kind of life gain strategy. This is actually my first game with this deck. Not sure what order I will be showing these games, so we'll see how this works. I've been meaning to play this deck for a long time. Been trying to find some combos the last few days, and yeah, I've been not finding it the easiest to play combos on the ladder right now. So just gone for a pirate build, which is something I like to do every now and again, these tribal builds, and I think pirates is fantastic. So much value. Opponent with 2 veterans, and looks like they're on Boros. Caves of Koilos, looks like they're on Mardu. Okay, so we might be up against it here. We don't want them to be gaining too much life. They're having a really good think about this turn. It's Kayla's command. What are they going to do? +1 counter, double strike, gain 2 life, scry 2. Okay, fair enough. So I'm sure this isn't what they really want to be doing with Kayla's commands with the veterans. But a little nifty way to get us down to 15, and they're back up to 23. So still can't double spell this turn. Larcenist taking care of one of these veterans, not great. So I think we'll go for Malcolm. Yeah, not an ideal game here. And we can attack with Malcolm. We'll just hold the Captain Storm back. I'm just not particularly excited if they were to go play land like this and then like an Emperor or something. So just keep the Captain Storm back. I guess it also protects our life total slightly. But they do have Kayla's command, so they're up to something. Restless Bivouac, okay. Please, I will block the Bivouac with Captain Storm if they want to put the counter on one of these veterans. We will see what they do. Okay, it's gone onto the Bivouac. Wow, I'm just going to... Yeah, we'll block. No, we won't. Yes, we will. I'm very nervous about my life total here. Although that was one of our better cards, we do have a second copy in our hand. We can double spell here. And I feel like with this deck, being able to double spell with Malcolm is a real sweet way of pushing as much damage as possible. This also pops a counter onto Malcolm because I guess we can put it on Captain Storm actually, make it a 3/3. And then smash with our Malcolm. If we can just gum up the board, I guess, with big creatures, then maybe that will stop them from wanting to attack with their land up there, which is the card that I think is going to cause me the most problems here. Larcenist can deal with any creatures that they play. Okay, that is another manland and Travelling Minister. Okay, so they are very much on the life gain strategy. But they haven't got any life gain payoffs yet. Looking for a Voice of the Blessed maybe for the opponent. That would be a nightmare for us, but we do have the Larcenists to deal with that. Hey, our Goddric. And now this is in the deck for situations a little bit akin to where we are right now, where we kind of have a little bit of a board stall, but Goddric is just so powerful at going over the top. Fortunately, we can't get 2 permanents to enter the battlefield this turn. So we'll drop Goddric though, and I mean, they could have anything in their hand. I guess we just attack with everyone. See what our opponent does. Surge of Salvation. Okay, it's going to protect their board. So they get to save their creatures, but their life total is still going to drop slightly. Drop down to 15. And I like where we are. I am worried about a board wipe. Seen a lot of board wipes the last couple of days. Find a Schooner. And I guess we'll discard the Malcolm. We already have one on the board. So yeah, I mean, this is looking okay. The Luminous Phantom. Lots of 1/1s for our opponent, but we have a decent board of pirates here, and they get in there. Now, I've been streaming on Twitch recently, so if anyone that wants to go along to Twitch and follow me, the link is in the description below for my Twitch. I want to do a lot of testing on Twitch. I do a lot of testing on my decks, so feel free to pop over there and find out what's going on. You might even get to see a deck before it goes up onto YouTube. I used to stream a lot, but I haven't done it so much recently, so dusting off the cobwebs a little bit to do just that. But Larcenist here, I'm going to take care of this Phantom and just smash with as much as we possibly can. I guess playing the Schooner here as a second spell here is going to turn on a few of our effects on our board. Goddric, Captain Storm, Malcolm. Yeah, I mean, it's all going off right now. So although Goddric not a pirate, I just think it works so nicely. There are so many other non-pirate options you could play. I liked Generous Plunderer as well in this deck, but I've been playing that a lot recently. And didn't want to play too many mythics in this particular deck. So this is an enormous attack by us for 13. They do have Iganjo to deal with Goddric, that's fair enough. They go down to 7, and we're threatening lethal in the air next turn, so that'll be nice. Just discard this land. And say go, we also have our Schooner as well. What you got, opponent? Is this a Sunfall? That would be not the world's worst for our deck. I did build this deck with board wipes in mind. Traveling Minister is going to pump up the Veteran. Okay. And they just jam? Well, sure. No blocks there. I don't think there's any card in... Oh, that could suggest a board wipe, I guess. Yes, it does. Vanquish the Horde for our opponent, but... Schooner survives. They do get their Phantom back. Okay, okay. They did have that board wipe. But yeah, we do have a 3/4, and they play the other card. They did have land available to animate. So we find a Spirebluff Canal. I guess we can play the Larcenist, and then we can crew up the Schooner, just holding Goddric back for a bigger attack next turn. So Goddric has haste, obviously, so we can always kind of surprise them. I mean, this is quite a big turn. I'm a bit worried about their Restless Bivouac. Well, we don't have to attack. Sorry, opponent. I'm having a bit of a think here. I'm going to give them the thinking bubble there, speech bubble. We could draw into something. I'm just worried about them just turning back and then getting us. All right, let's go for the Larcenist here. I think this is the better play. Don't think we need to do anything on our turn. We could have made a treasure. If we had a 2-drop, that would have been great. Now the question is, do we attack here with our Schooner? They're going to have a pretty good draw to kill us, I'm guessing, the following turn. So let's just get busy with our Schooner here. If anything, this drops the opponent down to 5, or they chump. So apologies, opponent, for taking ages on this particular turn, but Spyglass Siren, I mean, that's a keeper because that will turn on Goddric. And that will also crew up the Schooner. So we've got lethal next turn. I'm pretty sure about that. They can also attack with their fortress here to gain back some life. And they have a Planeswalker, fair enough. Elspeth Resplendent. I mean, it might be a little bit too late. What are they going to do? They make their Luminous Phantom a 2/2 lifelinker and they get in there well. Pretty sure we've got lethal here. We'll just play Goddric. Yeah, play Goddric, play our Siren. Crew up the Schooner with the Siren and smash for lethal. So we got there in the end. We got through the board wipe. Pretty happy with how the deck got on there, actually. We ended up winning quite comfortably, but was a bit nervous about those manlands the opponent had up there, especially the Bivouac, which was a big threat for us here. But we take down the Mardu control deck there. Alright then, on the draw. Snazzy little hand for us here as we have 2 and 3 drops. And we have lands to play those spells, so yeah, I'm excited about this particular hand. What are we up against? Ooh, Mountain, okay. I mean, if they're mono red, we could be in a bit of trouble. Play with fire to our face straight away, okay. They're not scared, are they? They've just gone straight for the play. Maybe they are missing a land drop and they needed it. But they did scry to the top. We'll go for our 1 drop we just drew in our Spyglass Siren. And yeah, we'll pass the turn. This opponent could have held the play with fire to deal with our Siren if they wanted to. Second Mountain and nothing. Okay. So my small theory is that they just scried for that Mountain. So we'll go for Malcolm, we'll smash them, and they go down to 17. I do like Malcolm. I think it's such an underused card. They play Cavern and name Pirates. Nice. Are we up against a mirror match here? That would be pretty sweet. Caught in the Crossfire. Okay, that deals with the board. Caught in the Crossfire is a card you could play in this deck. We'll play Goddric though and smash. Caught in the Crossfire does 2 damage to each non-outlaw or each outlaw. Most of our creatures, except for Goddric, are actually outlaws. And at the end of the day, Goddric is a 3/3 anyway. They play Posse Boss. Okay, another card in this deck. Very much a mirror match here. But we do have Goddric, and if we can start putting 2 permanents on the board every turn, we can start making this very large, very much in charge. But we do only have 1 blue mana, so we can double spell, but not the way I particularly want to. I'd love to go for Captain Storm into like a Malcolm or something, or we can Kitesail Larcenist their Posse Boss if we want to make a treasure. We can turn our map token into a treasure, but thinking just smashing for as much as possible here is probably the best option. And we'll take the opponent down to 9. Goddric's always threatening, so we'll see what they do. We have some blockers, and I'm fine to throw the Tomb Raider under the bus if I need to block this Posse Boss. It's Breeches, okay. Very similar deck we're up against here. Looks like they might be mono red or missing a colour. But we can take some damage here, or we can just chump if we want to. This is 7 damage. We'll just take it. We are very much in charge at the moment, and we could easily win the game quite quickly. Enterprising Scallywag. Alright, that's definitely not in my deck. Say 2/2. Okay, still no land. Staunch Crewmate could find something, but we don't particularly have much that we could look for, in fact, with just 2 red mana to help with Goddric here. Larcenist is probably the better option. If anything, it clears their blocker, but I probably don't care too much about this Scallywag. I'm worried about their other cards, but I think what we can do is certainly turn our map token here into a treasure token. Just counting up the damage here. Alright, let's get rid of Breeches. We do have a treasure now, so we can play our Staunch Crewmate. This will make our Goddric fly. I get nothing off the top. Yeah, I didn't think so. And get in there with as much as we possibly can. We can still block their threats. I'm worried maybe about another Breeches or something, but let's see how this one goes. They are on 5 life. Very awkward game, this one. But we have the Flyers, and I think the Flyers are what is needed here to see out this particular victory. A second Posse Boss. Alright, I mean, that is a lot of hasty threats. But they can't really attack, can they? Because we just have to get 5 damage through. They do have 2 mana open. Okay. Okay, they've gone for an attack. This is actually not a lethal attack. So this 100% suggests they have something going on. So let's just block one of these Hellspare Posse Bosses and they scoop it out. I reckon they did have a play with fire or something in their hand there. Alright then, on the draw, and is my 1 copy of Mirrex going to come and bite me on the backside here, because we need a red mana. Still keeper though. We have the Siren and we can use the map token here to help us find what we need. But it did mulligan with their 110 card deck. Obscura Storefront for them. So I'm very keen to play with one of these massive decks. There's a lot of discussion about this, especially on Reddit, about these particular decks, but obviously there's something there about them. They've certainly come into prevalence the last 6 months or so. So if anyone has any builds with over 100 card decks, I would be very eager to see them. Find another Siren there. Not great. Still looking for a red mana, which we can still use the Mirrex to play a red card this turn. So yeah, let me know if you have any builds. I don't care if they're janky. I just want to see if they're feasible, because there's clearly something about them. Resolute Reinforcements. By the way, that was a veteran into Resolute Reinforcements, so for a big deck that they have, this isn't too bad a start for them. Shivan Reef is a fantastic find for us though. But yeah, we can't necessarily double spell. I'm probably going to remove this Mirrex after this particular game. I was nervous about this card. I just thought that maybe it was a good mana sink. Good way to make an artifact in a pinch, but we'll go for Breeches here, and I guess we can... what do we even want to do here? I definitely want to make a treasure. I might as well attack with everything, I guess. Why not? Maybe I should have attacked with the Tomb Raider. That would have made that a 2-2. Who knows, who knows, who knows. Next turn, though, we can attack with everyone and get a load of damage through. A Swooping Lookout for them. So there, I look like they're a creature-based 110 card deck. Larcenist. I'm not hating on these bigger decks, I just don't understand them. We do have a treasure though, so we can double spell this particular turn with a Malcolm and maybe Tomb Raider or the Surge. I think the best thing to do though is just attack with... I guess we can attack with everyone. Well, we can certainly attack here with Breeches. Do we attack with the Tomb Raider? Yeah, why not? We have the Surge here that can kind of blow them out slightly. We get to trigger all of our Breeches here, and it's just to make their 2 toughness creature not be able to block, and we find a Captain Storm off the top of our deck. Captain Storm, not a card that is an instant, but we can still play it second main if we want to. Probably don't want to though, because I want to use my Voltage Surge here on one of their 1/1s, so we can take care of both of them here. This will also get us a clue token. And we are attacking the opponent all the way down to 13. Maybe they're stuck on mana slightly. Breeches is certainly helping us out because we've been a little bit hindered with our mana ourselves. Swooping Lookout gets in there as it's a free attack for them. And maybe this is the downside of these sort of larger decks. They are missing land drops. but we can just keep smashing. I mean, this is kind of what this deck's all about, just as aggressive as possible with some pirates. Swerving any kind of board wipes that they might have. Find an island, which is nice, and a treasure. And we have our Larcenists as well. So this is pretty much, I think, going to be almost game over for our opponent here. So we had a slightly slow and awkward start with the Mirrex token, the Mirrex land, but we've got them down to 5. And do I want to overextend onto the board? I guess so. This kind of replaces itself anyway if we find something in the top 4 of our library. Tomb Raider and Malcolm. Okay, well, let's get the Tomb Raider down and pass the turn. Tomb Raider will have haste. I guess Malcolm could have been flashed out as well. And that's a Luminous Phantom. Okay, okay. They've got to be dead, haven't they? Yeah, they scoop it up. That was a strange game, but they were totally mana screwed there. Okay, so let's check the stats for this deck over on untapped.gg, and as you can see, my pirate deck here today went 6-0, did it in about 40 minutes. Some of the games were slightly long, and yeah, felt pretty comfortable there, even if we had to plow through quite a lot of board wipes. 3 Orzhov style decks, and then 3 decks running red today. So I have got the deck here in case you guys want to make any changes to it. Here's my pirate deck here, added some decks to the sideboard here. I'm pretty happy with our build. I mean, you can make major changes to it if you want. Some of the lands and Voltage Surge will rotate out, so you need to make some changes there, but hopefully Bloomburrow brings some new lands for us to use. Got some sideboard cards here. Caught in the Crossfire, we saw a player, an opponent play that against us. That actually can deal 2 damage to each non-outlaw. All of our creatures are outlaws, so that would work pretty nicely, as would a Generous Plunderer, making treasure, ramping us. And yeah, this card's pretty sweet, but I wanted to move away from too many mythics in this particular deck. You could play something like Breeches if you want a bit more fun, a bit more jank. You get to flip coins when you cast your second spell. Double Down, I mean, that would work well in this deck if you want to throw it in there to double up your creatures. The Belligerent, a vehicle that makes a treasure when it attacks, and if you want to get crazy, you can go for something like a Roaming Throne or a Hellspur Brute if you want to go that direction. But I'm really happy with our build here. I've got absolutely no complaints, and until I start losing some games, I'm going to leave this exactly as it is. So to check out my stats for this video and all the decks I play, the link to my untapped.gg is listed in the description, and that's where you'll also find a link to download the deck tracker for yourself. You'll get to track your stats, see the top decks being played, and maybe find a deck or 2 that you can make with your collection. It is all over there on untapped.gg. But in the meantime, thank you for watching this video, supporting the channel as we grow, and I'll catch you again in the next video.